Hey, this is Jotham. Hello and welcome back to my Hitman Level overview. So this is the third week. Now I'm actually going to be releasing this a tad earlier, and hopefully from now on I'll be releasing it a tad earlier because I've been releasing the videos after my lectures. I have lectures on Monday and Tuesday, but this actually means that it's a bit harder to show and present my work, and so I've pushed forward the releasing of the video just a little bit. And this does mean that for this week, the amount of work isn't as much, but it does mean that in subsequent weeks it should return back to normal. So here we are in Jothamesburg University. That's the name of the university that I decided to call it. Before I talk about the level, I've mostly been working on the level. I'm just going to quickly show you a change that I made to the vaultables, these objects that the player can vault over. So I had an issue that if you're climbing up, if you then turned away, then you'll just be able to fly away basically. And that's a bit of an issue because it's quite unimmersive and it makes it far harder for new players to understand how to vault over objects. And so what I've done is I've got some blocking volumes that only become in effect once I've started vaulting. And this means that as long as I'm vaulting in the air, I can't move backwards. And so it forces me forwards to do the full vaulting motion. And it works the other way too. So I just can't move backwards. There you go. Until, of course, I've stopped falling and I've stopped vaulting. And so that's just a quick change that I made, just to make sure that the mechanic makes sense and that new players find it easier to understand what to do. And so moving on, I've been working on the block out for the university. I've been working on a number of different buildings. I'll quickly just give an overview of the building I've been working on previously. This is the Elizabeth Building. It's an art centre. And this is the first building I made, but I think since then I've probably improved in terms of the spaces. But I wanted to make sure that all these buildings had lots of options to go up and down in, that it wasn't just the stairs or it wasn't just one or two ways, that there were multiple ways for the player to progress through these buildings. And so I'll start with this big building here. I've called it the Sir Leroy Building. And so this is a big building with some lecture halls, especially on the top floor. But as we walk in, the main thing that draws the player's eye is this massive canteen. Here will be quite a public space, lots of people talking and chatting and maybe even studying, but it might be a bit too noisy for that. And here is where the students can come and get some food, get some lunch. This is quite a public area, and a lot of this building, especially on the ground and first floor, is public. But actually, there's an area that you can't go into without a chef disguise, or at least you can't go there legally, and it's this kitchen. And in the kitchen, there should be some dangerous objects like knives or poison or this sort of thing, rat poison, I'm thinking. And so I've added some blocks here just to allow the player some leeway in hiding from the chefs, as well as a window here. And this means that if the player is wandering around the outside, that they can jump in here and immediately hide, that they're not left out in the open. There are two main entrances to the Sir Leroy Building. I've just walked through the main one. Here is more of a side one, more for staff, but I think this is still legal for the player to enter. And here is just a sort of an area, maybe with a vending machine and a table or something, just talking about what's going on in the university. And so I'm going to go to the second floor, well, the first floor really, we are in England. And so up the stairs we go, and here's just another open area for students to chat and talk and you know, have fun in, I suppose. A nice view of the sun over there. But actually, I've included just here a quick way up and down. So if the player is in such a tough situation that they can skip the stairs, especially if they've been a bit naughty and have to run away. So here we are on the first floor. And so behind this door, there will be a door here, and I'm going to put some guard because this is where the Dean of the University has his office. The Dean of the University is one of the targets for Agent 47, and you will spend a fair bit of time in this office, and because it's in such a public place, it's quite hard to get there without being, spotted. There are a couple of windows in, but they're not really very useful from a ground floor perspective. So the only way into the building into the room, I should say, is through the main door here, which should be guarded by these windows, and that's much harder to get into. As you can see here, that these windows only give access to the second floor, which is off limits, and so this room is actually quite secure. But I'm hoping to add some kind of mission story for Agent 47 to dress up as a professor that is applying to join the university, and so after being frisked and allowed to enter and having a conversation with the dean will actually take Agent 47 on a short walk just up these stairs, and I'll talk about this floor in just a moment, but he keeps on going up the stairs he goes, then into this private secluded area where the dean will talk about his grand vision for the university, and will offer a perfect time for Agent 47 to sock him and then make a quick getaway. And so this leaves us back to the second floor. So here's a nice balcony just for Agent 47 to look menacing on. But actually the most important part of this floor are these stairs. The second target is a paramilitary leader, and he will be in the underground. And the only way to get to the underground will be a select few stairs down. This is one of them. The only entrance in this building to these stairs is here, in an illegal area with very few ways to get in unnoticed. There are a couple though, and this involves sneaking through these lecture theatres. These theatres have been closed off, at least, for the time being, and so if Agent 47 is spotted here, then he'll be in very big trouble indeed. Not allowed to be here. And so I've allowed the player, plenty of windows in and out and chances to hide. And there are ways to get in from the second floor, but it's quite difficult to get up, at least without a disguise. Possible, but difficult. So this is the Sir Leroy Building. I've not shown everything off because there's quite a lot to show, and I'm a bit conscious of time, but it does allow for people to play to explore themselves and see what they find. So before us here is the most recent building I've built. This is Manfield Hall. It's student accommodation. This will actually be where Agent 47 will be taken to when he first starts the level. He's under the disguise of a student, and will be taken this way to his room. And so here is just the reception area with some friendly receptionists saying, "Oh, how are you doing? How are you doing?" "Well, thank you." And Agent 47 will be taken up to his room, up the stairs, and into this corridor. And this is a student's apartment, and this is Agent 47's room. Now, I've given him a bigger room than the rest. This is a bit bigger than the rest of them because I think it's important for the player to I think it's better for the player to have a bit more room for planning than these other NPC students. But you can see some bedrooms and then a toilet and a bathroom, and all sorts. Here's the kitchen, and of course, if Agent 47 has no interest in speaking to his flatmate, which I can guarantee he has no interest, he can make a quick getaway and crack on with his mission. There is a repeat of the layout on the floor, slightly different, but this really just is to make the level believable, maybe even for somewhere to hide for Agent 47. And so I think just so that the player has enough versatility in how they want to proceed in the level. Here is another student accommodation. In here will be some disguises, a rugby player or maybe a student association disguise. But nothing too major in there. So we go up to the first floor again, and through here we have a bit of a common room for all the residents to enjoy. Of course, a sneaky way out as well, should the H47 have enough of annoying students. And another apartment here. I'm just going to go up the stairs again because this is one of the most interesting parts of the building is the roof, and this area is illegal. The 8 player is not allowed here, and so we'll have to sneak around the place. Why aren't they allowed? Because there's currently some work going on to the library. This big building here is the library, and here there's a secret way into the library. Now the whole of the library, at least the ground and first floor, is public. But this secret way gives the player some more versatility in how to proceed in the level. And this area is public for the player. For the player, I suppose, but also for students to learn and to study. But I wanted to keep this building quite small because it isn't the main focus. There aren't any targets here. I just wanted to make sure that the university feels believable. And so the first floor and the ground floor are all believable. There's not a great deal of gameplay opportunities other than exploration and maybe a couple of interesting items to find. But really the most interesting part of the library is the downstairs. And so this little thing here, this desk here, is sort of a reception. From this moment onwards, you're entering into an illegal area. You'll need to be secret, so you could go around here and clamber down. Or you'll need to have a disguise to enter here. And the reason being that through these doors will be a secret way to the underground. I've not made the underground yet, but through those doors you will be able to get there. And of course here should be some guards making sure that no students accidentally find themselves trying to get into the underground base. So the underground base is where the paramilitary organisation is kept, it's where the main target is, and that's I suppose the Grand Fortress, so I'll be building that in the upcoming week. But apart from that, that is the level so far, that's the building that I've been making, that's the work I've been doing. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, hopefully you've been able to understand what I'm trying to convey. So thank you very much for watching, see you later and take care, bye bye.